Well, apparently we're live. I don't know about you, Sam. Oh, wow. Some brilliant artifacting. The previous look he had, it freezed on the frame just before, and he looked like Sylvester Stallone. Like, the lip was like, it was brilliant. It was, what a face. How you doing, mate? Oh, anytime.
I'm getting like little bits of what you were saying. Like, this is the thing. I'm not in London anymore, so I just.
I think Paul, this one is down to us. I think.
Is it stable? It says Ford.
Is it stable?
No.
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's not stable. Not even close to stable. But I tell you what, we'll give him like. Well, if you can hear me, Jake, here the question that you need to answer for this session is: if you hadn't joined the Chrome team, what would you do? That was asked by Tiger. So if you got that question, if you weren't in the Chrome team, what would you do?
Okay, so if I didn't join the Chrome team, it's got really muddy here. Oh my god. I wouldn't be a hiker, that's for sure, because this is really, really difficult.
Or a live broadcast.
This is seriously muddy. Right. Oh, what? Okay, this is really difficult to do while holding a selfie stick. There we go. Right. Okay. And oh, right. If I wasn't on the Chrome team,
yes.
So this is the thing. I'm not in the city anymore, so it's got like all of this stuff going on. Right. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Who else would have me? That's the difficulty, isn't it? I feel like I really hope none of my, no one who controls my pay is watching this. Is I don't know what else I do. This is the thing. I really enjoy like messing around with browser standard stuff. It's really nice doing the open source thing, and it's really nice. I love just the way a bit of markup, a bit of CSS, and now you've got a working website. So what would I be doing instead? Hey, I tell you what. When I was a young man, I thought I was going to be a designer, and I thought I wanted to do visual effects for movies. Now, there is a problem in that I can't design. Like, my art skills are actually really bad. So I kind of learned that when I went to university and met people who could actually like do computers and art at the same time. And I don't think it's fair, right? Like, people who can do code and art at the same time. I'm going into a tunnel, by the way. Let's see how this goes. Yeah. So people like Mr. Paul Lewis, who can do code and art. It's not fair. Pick one. You should have to just. You should have a thing plugged into the back of your head that extracts all of the skills of one of those things and give them to someone needy. It's greedy, Paul. It's just really greedy.
Does this look like a scene from The Matrix to you?
It does, doesn't it? And I like how he managed to turn the question back on me, because he sounds like he's sort of barely coping with the fact that he has to write markup in CSS and can't design. And he's like, I don't know, but it's all your awful, Paul, because you do two things.
Yeah, it's not fair. Now I have to do a gate, and that's complicated.
Oh. I always figured you were just going to be disappointed that you hadn't made like like a commander data stand-in. I figured that's what you would have done if you hadn't made. But okay, so my actual answer is going to be I'd love to do visual effects for movies. I really wanted to be good at 3D software, and that's what I used to play with on the Amiga and like some of the like 3D Studio Max in the early days. And I sort of felt because I could download a model of a ship from Star Trek and make it fly past the camera, I kind of felt like, yeah, I'm good at this. I can do.
I'm like 80% there.
This is some LucasArts shit right here, But it wasn't. But I'm interested to hear like, Surma, I'm interested to hear your answer for this.
Like, this is like, if I didn't join the team at Google, I would still be in tech. This is not the question, what would you do if you never did tech, right? Because like, those are very different questions to me. Like, if I didn't, like, let's say I just failed my interview, which honestly I was expecting, I think I would still be...
We were all expecting, right?
I just impostered my way in there, didn't I? I think I would still be doing backend Go stuff in the startup scene in Berlin. I think I just would have never made the jump to web, really.
I do feel that there's a pivot moment in my career where I did my university course, had a year in industry, and the university had this rule where you had to take up your first offer, and I had an offer from I was going to interview at Reuters. They were at the time, Reuters, Thomson Reuters now, and I got that role, and that got me down to London, which is kind of where I spent the rest of my career. Now, it turns out, I found this out later on, that I'd had an offer from a small web design firm in Redcar, which is in the northeast of England. And the university had actually hidden the fact that I got that offer in first, because they worked around their own rules that you had to accept the first offer you got. Because I think if I think I'd have taken that job in Redcar and I'd still be there. You know, I just sort of bumble from one job into the other.
I mean, that's what we always keep
Go on,
saying.
Paul.
Right?
What
The
would you be
careers
doing?
are just like a chain of fortunate or unfortunate events. Like there is no secret formula. It's just there's a whole truck pile of luck in anyone's career path.
I do get tweets from people sort of saying, like, you know, what's the path to success? And first, I'm flattered that, you know, that they think, one, that they think I'm successful, but the other one, that I think they think I did something deliberate to get here. And that saying that I saw on Twitter, and it really struck a chord with me, is like, you know, people giving career advice is quite often like them telling you the numbers they used to win the lottery. Like, it's not any more useful beyond that. Go on, Paul. What would you be up to if it wasn't web stuff?
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing, because I'd done web for about 10 years in agencies before I got the job at Google. So I kind of made my decision about like doing the web thing. I actually made a decision in my second year at uni when I discovered Flash, and I was sold. I was in. That was me. I was like, oh, I love this. I'm just going to keep doing this, and I kept doing it. But I think if I didn't do tech, though, bizarrely, I think what I'd actually do is something like carpentry. I'd actually love to spend my time actually making things. But I think I'm a born creator, and that's actually what I am like. I think I'm just creating in something else. Like, I love making things. So I think that's what I do. But I don't think it would be, if it wasn't tech, it would be something very, very different. But I couldn't see not making things.
It's the wankiest thing you have ever said, mate, is I'm actually a born creator.
Hey, at least I didn't say on stage that I invented the service worker.
I panicked.
It's a very big stage. You had to go.
At best.
So Flash is an interesting one, because that was my path as well, right? It was because as I say, I felt like I was a designer, just didn't have the skills. But yeah, Flash was very much that quick path to something visual, and then the kind of the scripting element sort of came into that and sort of slowly introduced me to code, because I was playing with Flash before I learned how to do HTML, right? So like, HTML was just the thing you pasted the Macromedia code in to make Flash work, right? And that was good.
That was my only interaction with the web before I formally learned the web. I was like, I learned about Flash, and then it's like, oh, you do the embed tag thing, and you make it as big as the entire screen, and there is your website. It's great. Yep. And then the first week went down to building a progress bar that shows how much of the Flash is loaded. It's good times.
Yeah. And you could get quite far later on in Flash. That you could share assets between Flash files. You know, I did start going down this journey of like multi-page Flash that were sharing common assets. Like they had like, well, essentially web bundles. You know, there's so much stuff that we come out with every year that was
in Flash to some degree.
The Shockwave component was that. It was like this little bundle, like effectively a zip-like file, wasn't it, with like the assets and the Flash file, and you could be like, here you go, poof, there you go. That's my component right there. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, ode to Flash. I mean, obviously there's a lot bad about Flash, where the security model isn't great and all sorts, but people make fun of Flash, but I think it has a real place in the history of the web. It really pushed HTML forward once the standards groups actually decided to start doing something about it, which started with the audio and video tag. I seem to remember was like they actually started taking it seriously rather than just letting one company control all of the multimedia experiences of the web.
I mean, it's still not been successfully replaced, right? Like, I don't think we have a full front, like, start to finish authoring and deployment, artsy, creative workflow that covers all the things that Flash did. Like, we have some puzzle pieces.
A number of years, when I had switched to the web and I was giving talks, when I was starting to speak at conferences, my slides were all written in Flash because there was effects that I wanted to do that I just couldn't do on the web in any decent way or any performant way. And I had slides with code highlighting because it was reading from files and all of that stuff, but it was all Flex. It was done with the Flex compiler.
So you're saying even back in the day, you always wrote your slides as websites?
But they were displaying in the well, no, because I used the standalone Flash player originally, and I tell you one thing that it could do that we've only got recently, like notes. It would let me spawn, and I did use a web page for this. It would spawn a web window, move it to the second monitor, make it full screen, and I could put my notes on that and control them. What was it, Paul? Do you remember the runtime where you were launching a browser from within Flash? Was that Flex?
It would have been. I think it would have been Flex. I never did that work.
Adobe Air. It was Adobe Air.
Oh yeah. It was like you made an actual app with Air. That's when it bundled Flex or Flash as a standalone. It's a bit like Electron, I suppose. Like it's.
But you know what other kind of apps are really good for like having notes on screen and slides?
Is it actual Keynote? Yeah. Yeah, but you can't do syntax highlighting. You can't have any meaningful control over a video playing. Like, I get so sad using Google Slides or Keynote. Like, it just seems to miss the basics.
Highlighting? I mean, you can embed images.
It sounds to me like you just decided that, mate. I don't think that doesn't seem. Yeah, no, sure.
If you do syntax highlighting if you have a series of slides in Keynote, right, and you're highlighting bits of the code on a slide-by-slide basis, and then you realize, oh, one of those variables is named wrong. Oh, there goes your Thursday. You're replacing all of those slides by hand.
Don't write bugs. Slides. Yeah? Don't make mistakes.
Yeah, don't make mistakes. And if you do, it just sounds like there's a lack of commitment to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So. Oh. Well, we've talked for a long time. I should do a walk instead.
Yeah, which is his nice way of saying, go away, chaps.
Well, I was sort of looking at the time and thinking,
we're just going to say this exactly 13 minutes and 37 seconds in. 1337. It said it right there.
Yeah. Go on, mate.
Keep going. We're gonna let you get on.
Well done.
All right.
Keep going.
Not feeling too bad. The downhills are getting painful, but whatever. Yeah. We'll just keep just keep going. Yeah. All right. See ya.
Good luck, mate.
Yeah, bye. See you in a bit. Ta-ra. I think we're out. I never know when these. Oh, bye-bye. Never know when these things actually finish. I pressed a button.
Did you actually?